Could Juju win this job from a fifth-year senior?
He could. Juju could. And I'm not saying that just because I've been watching him a long time, but I also am saying that because I've been watching a long time. He's different, and it's not usually when you get guys who have the physical tools to play at a earlier, they don't have it here. Well, it's the inverse with Juju. He has it here. Like the way, like what I heard, I talked to somebody in the building about the first time that he got mic'd up when he was able to get the communication from the sideline with a helmet on, and they said it was like he had a 30-year-old man. The way Juju is processed and wired, I think the intangibles we've seen Juju. There's footage of him throwing at Athletes First Day where Athletes First is probably top 2, top 3 agencies in the NFL, where he's throwing with guys who are Pro Bowlers, and they're all in awe. Like, man, this kid is 14 years old, and the ball is coming out like that. I think we've seen that part of it, but I think what sets Juju is apart is the intangibles and his cerebral nature when it comes to playing football. That's why I say that you could run him out there game one. Do I think he'll do it? I think it's still going to be an uphill battle because there's some things that you just can't replace with that experience is one of those intangibles that you can't replace. And I think Salter playing against Power 4 competition, upsetting some of those teams while he was at Liberty, being able to take a team that, I think they went undefeated and played Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl that year.
Yeah.
So I think, and Salter also has uncanny athleticism and his explosion. And I think when we talk about people being fast, we usually restrict that to 40 times and running 100. But guys who do well in jumping events, whether it be the hurdles, whether it be the broad jump, whether it be having a great vertical, when you're able to kind of focus on that explosion, usually 10-foot jumps translate to 4 or 5 40s. And that's what we saw at the combine. If you go look at the combine list, and Salter is really explosive in this core. So I think that's one of those things where even short area and long stride is going to allow him to be able to score off RPOs. So I think that's going to be important early to really set the plate or set the table when you have teams where if the passing game isn't going, you can really make a safety cheat either backwards or forwards because you have that ability and that duality in the quarterback. But to answer your question, I do think Juju can win the job. I just think he's going to have a lot of work to do because he's not taking it from Boo Boo the Fool. He would have to take it from Caden Salter.
Your biggest standouts from spring practice and what should people we should be looking forward to as we head into, Colorado spring ball and getting ready for their spring game?
Man, I think right now for the first 2 practices, Farrakhan and Gibson for sure have stood out. Somebody who's already been there that they're really impressed with that's taking their game to another level has been DJ McKinney. I don't know if you saw where there was some footage out that was saying that I think Coach Phillips was talking to Coach Prime about some feedback he had been getting from NFL teams. And DJ McKinney is a guy who, if he puts it together, he definitely day 2, but can slide into day 1. So he just has to put everything together. And he's showing that right now. And I believe it's the tight end is Zach Atkins.
Yeah, transfer.
Somebody really excited about is Zach Atkins. I think especially when you think about RPOs coming into it, usually your first read of RPO when you're going to pass the ball is the tight end. And I think having a tight end who can get open in short spaces and has that short area explosion and burst, as a former wide receiver, he's always had to have a get off. So I think by being able to bring that mentality to the tight end position is something that's going to go bowl very well. And Jaheim Motors is as advertised to him and Quinn Barnes. You got Twin Towers right there in the middle, man. So it's going to be exciting. Like one of the things that you got gassed to death last year against certain teams. I think that goes away this year.
Yeah, and look, I played 3 technique CU, and I know it's a man's position. Everybody knows that. I read something the other day, and I'm just visualizing it, where in individual periods, Sapp's working with 3 techniques and Pecco's working just with the noses. And I'm sitting there like, holy shit, if I could have – I had a great D-line coach with Chris Wilson. I love him to death. But if Warren Sapp was my 3 technique coach, holy shit, holy hell. The things you can learn from that, man. So, if you're one of the guys and you're standing there in front of 9-9 and he's teaching you the Sapo way and all these pass rush moves and shit, I want to go up there and just sponge it up so I can teach it. So, man, I'm so excited about the future up in Boulder.